Hi and welcome to today's What's in My Slow Cooker Today. Today I am making chicken chasseur. We're being very French in the family today. So I'm just going to quickly go through the ingredients with you. The recipe that I'm using is from a pretty generic slow cooker compilation book. And it recommends that you use a whole chicken, but I went with cheap, a reduced today only piece, it's thighs and drumsticks, so it's sort of a casserole package. And then it also called for baby onions, but I went with leeks instead. I like to do this to recipes, sort of change it to my own thing. So I've got 1 leek chopped up, 2 slices of celery, 2 garlic cloves, 1 large sweet potato, and 2 small carrots, which again, the carrots are not in the recipe, but again, I just decided to add it in for flavor and nutrients. Also called for 175 grams of mushrooms, and because I didn't have the baby onions, I thought I would throw in 1 sort of medium-sized red onion. Also calls for 300 ml of dry white wine, 450 ml of chicken stock with 2 tablespoons of tomato puree mixed in, and 2 tablespoons of flour so that you can make the sauce a little bit thicker, and then salt and a bit of seasoning. And it also called for tarragon, but I don't like tarragon. So those are our ingredients for what's in your slow cooker today, chicken chasseur. I'm starting off today by frying off the chicken casserole combination of thighs and drumsticks, just to get a bit of browning on them. I'm also leaving the skin on. The recipe calls for skin off, but I like it because it adds a bit more flavor. You can always peel it off. But if you're going for low fat, obviously take the skin off beforehand. So we're doing a bit of browning, and then that will be going straight into the slow cooker as the base. And what I'll do is, because I have a partitioned slow cooker, I'll be dividing them up into drumsticks and thighs, so segregating my chicken, if you will. Okay. Chicken has been segregated off into the slow cooker. Now I'm going to take my leeks, celery, and garlic, and that's going to fry off for a little while just to get it softened. It says about 5 to 8 minutes, so we'll give it that much. There is a fair bit of grease in the pan. I haven't added any oil to non-stick Tefal pan. That's not product placement. But then I didn't have to add any additional oil to the mix. I did, when I fried off my chicken pieces, add a bit of garlic, salt to the chicken, just to bring out a little extra flavor. And here we'll just fry these off for about 5 minutes to soften them. The idea is just to soften. It doesn't have to be brown, so you can keep the temperature fairly low. You obviously want to be careful with the garlic, because if you do burn it, it does become bitter. So we're just going to let that go, but I'm also going to whack in my red onion and mushrooms at the same time, just to get that all going, because I know everybody has places to be and food to cook. So there we go, and that will cook down for about 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're back. We've been frying off the leeks, onions, garlic, celery, mushrooms, and onions. And now I'm going to sprinkle it with this 2 tablespoons of flour. For me, this is gluten-free flour. For the rest of you, you don't have to do it that way, but it makes it edible for me. So just mixing that in, because this is what effectively will help to thicken the sauce a bit when it's cooking in the slow cooker. So I just mix this in. Make sure to kind of coat as much as possible. This is going to help to soak up some of the grease and juices, and just help to make it thicker. Then what we're doing is we're pouring in 300 ml gradually, 300 ml of wine, white wine. I didn't go for expensive, I went for JP Chenet. I don't really drink wine very much, my husband does sometimes, so he'll appreciate a glass of this, but I'm just going to turn up the temperature a little bit just to get it bubbling, and we're going to get this wine mixed in I could have a sneaky sip of it, but I shouldn't because, you know, Sam's in the lounge. So there we go. And the sauce is thickening up already. I can already see it. And I don't have any lumps. How lovely is that? No lumps. So there we have that. And then I'm going with my 2 tablespoons of tomato puree mixed in with chicken stock. I just went with a Knorr stock cube, which happens to be gluten-free. I'm not going to pour the whole stock in because, first of all, my pan is a bit shallow. And second of all, I want to see, once I get it divided into the 2 partitions in my slow cooker, where else we need a little bit more liquid. One side of my slow cooker, for some reason, seems to cook a little bit faster or a little bit harder than the other. So I'm just going to let this bubble up for a moment, and then we'll be whacking it into the slow cooker. Here I am. That was very professional of me, wasn't it? So I'm going to move my slow cooker over just a little bit to its usual position on the counter, where it's comfortable. And then this is my sauce that I've made from all the veg and the stock and the flour. And I need to just divide it up as equally as possible because I've got a partition slow cooker. I need to sort of make sure that we've got equal parts on each side, or else we're going to end up with sort of one a little bit thicker than the other. That's the only challenge really to a partition slow cooker, but that's also the joy of it when you want to adapt a recipe for sort of the adults and the kids. If you want to make one bit of it a bit spicier or a bit milder, or add more veg, or leave some sort of veg out, then you can do that. I've also thrown the carrots in because they'll need plenty of time to cook. And basically what the next instructions are, pardon me, I'm just going to add a bit more of the stock and tomato puree just to cover, because I don't want too much liquid in, but I also want everything covered. What the instructions are now is to put it on high and cook for 3 hours. And then, at that point, put your sweet potato in, which I've so lovingly chopped. Put your sweet potato in, and then cook for an additional 30 minutes. Then put any additional veg that you'd like. The recipe calls for broad beans. I will probably either do frozen green beans or peas and throw those in for the last 30 minutes as well. And then you're done. Your dish is done. So that is my what's in my slow cooker today recipe, chicken chasseur, which makes you sound a little bit elegant. I'm hoping that you enjoyed today's recipe and that you give it a shot as well. Again, the recipe is not my own creation. I have adapted it, but I will put the recipe in the post, and also hopefully you'll see it as the post goes along, the video post. You'll be able to see the ingredients. And I thank you for tuning into Cafe Bebe for another episode of What's in My Slow Cooker Today. What's in your slow cooker today? What's in my slow cooker today? Chicken chasseur.